your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952, Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly, NATE certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes a ticket to USC plus Akron or Houston Christian and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. Purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Batter up. Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There he is.
What up?
What's up, man?
How we feeling? How we doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Just hanging and banging. You know how it is. It's another Thursday. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School, the New School Way. Brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Grades and Butcher Shop. 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Old Cheney, and 168th in Maple. It's 85th and Old Cheney / Andre, man. I'm losing. I'm a little bit off of myself there, Austin. But
right.
A little discombobulated, but everything's all good in the hood. We didn't really get to jump in it too much yesterday. The big news coming out of the NFL, and this is also could affect some players as they start to get these contracts, and it might be nothing that's going to happen in 2026 or even in the foreseeable future. It'll probably really come to light, if it does happen, until they get, my age, right? You see the grays popping and everything, but it was really interesting that it was actually a court document that somehow got leaked that the NFL owners / decision makers colluded with the teams, GMs and contract negotiators to give less guaranteed money throughout the league when it has to deal with new contracts. And how is that, important? What happened to those players in that era? is affecting some of the players during free agency, their career length, and then also the amount of money they could get in guarantees in the early part of their career. So which allows it creates a disadvantage for the players that they don't have as much power as far as like, what I mean by that is if I have a certain amount of guaranteed money in year 2, 3, and possibly 4, how I'm viewed or my play is viewed and how I'm viewed on the team as far as being able to continue my career at one team or not, or even throughout the league, and the perception, either affects you negatively or a positive way. And all starts with how you're negotiated with and the contracts that you have to sign, and the length of it. And it's no different than, there possibly could have been collusion on, not drafting Shedeur Sanders until after the 3rd or 4th round. So everything's on the table now. Now, some of the things he's done or did pre-draft probably didn't help him much, but then obviously, there was probably maybe a team effort to teach him a lesson. But then also you're teaching the players that actually, one of them was Russell Wilson, right? Who's, look, whether you like him, love him, or hate him personality-wise or personally, off the field, he's been nothing but a positive for the NFL and the Shield, and a good representative of the NFL. And he's one of the main big names that was in the case that it was a collusion not to give him any money, not to give him any too much guaranteed. You wonder when you think of the concussion lawsuit, the health practice, lack of, let's just say being on the up and up when they're evaluating players. That's before the concussion lawsuit, and plenty of other things that have been brought to light. And then obviously now when it's business, this is a contract that in this situation, a player, let's say like myself, had earned. We have exceeded expectations. We have met our previous contract, or we outplayed our previous contract. So now when it comes due for us to get paid, now it's like, okay, well, let's pay, everybody anywhere from 15 to 35% less on the guarantees. And it's different than NBA contracts. The guaranteed money is the only money that's really the most important to NFL players in these contracts.
Absolutely. And I think when you think about that guaranteed money being so different in the NFL, how really rare it is across the board compared to the NBA or baseball, right? Where it's all fully guaranteed from the first dollar to the last dollar. It's unfortunate that football is the sport without the guarantees because of how violent it is, because of the collisions. Those are probably the guys, them in hockey, right, that probably deserve and earn the most guarantees. And when Strick and I touched on this a little bit yesterday, Jay, we got some people saying, oh, boo-hoo, poor NFL players. They're still making millions of dollars. It's hard for me to put myself in their shoes. And I get it. These guys are still making good money. But for the NFL, where the average career is less than 4 years, I think something crazy like that. That's that guaranteed money that you most often get, in bulk in your second contract. Some of it's guaranteed for the rookie deals, but it's that second contract where you're really looking to get that guaranteed money. Not everyone's going to make it to that second contract with your 4-year deal and then the 5th-year rookie option. And then just the optics of it. Yeah, sure. Maybe it's hard to put yourself in the realm of, oh, this guy only got, 24 million guaranteed instead of the 30 he was looking for, boo-hoo. But it's really the principle of the thing. I tried to get people to understand that. Think about your situation. If your boss and the CEO or whatever of another company talk to each other about keeping your wages lower for the work that you do, for no other reason than they think they can get away with it. That's essentially what went on here, right? And if you found out that your boss and another company, maybe have friends in a similar industry, but at a different specific company, if they heard that, hey, we could have been making so much more, there's nothing stopping our bosses from doing that other than they didn't want to, and it changed the entire tenor and the tone of maybe negotiations or maybe whatever pay schedule they set, you would be pissed off, and rightly so. So yes, the millions matter. These guys are ultimately going to be fine. But it's really the principle of the thing that I think people are overlooking because they still see the big price tags.
Yeah, everybody likes to come out with pitchforks and then say, and look at what they're making. That's not the point. You can't say they're still making millions because they made $6 million less in that case. In your scenario, $6 million less guarantee that they can't never recruit, because unless it was a guarantee that they were going to make $6 million plus whatever the base salary was that year, which it really, to be honest with you, when you have a big signing bonus like you're talking about, 24 million, you're generally making the league minimum, right? Yeah. So that $6 million is gone. That interest on that $6 million is gone. And it's an earned money, right? And it'd be no different if somebody, if two, it'd be like two employees, going around including and going, in and out of the meeting, say, what did you get offered? I got offered this. And then you go in and say, I want whatever Austin got. And then now both you guys walk away with making more money than you ever should from whatever company that you're negotiating against. And it also gives a competitive advantage for the owners and the teams or the decision makers against the players. It essentially undermines everything that the NFLPA and in conjunction or perception of what the NFL has said that they've been trying to do, negotiate in good faith. And I think it starts here, Austin. I will say this, and before, I know you got a good point. I remember when the new CBA was done, and I said, these young players just, screwed themselves because they wanted to essentially smoke weed without being fined. So essentially, the owner's like, go ahead, smoke weed. There's a lot of states that you can't, right? So we don't have to go into court right now, right? So go ahead, smoke weed. We know you're doing it anyways. God forbid that you don't pass the two street drug tests that you have in a calendar year, because that's so important to you that you got to do something that affects the way that you can do your job. But since you're dumb enough to do it, we'll do that. So now we know that you're dumb enough to do that, right? That's what the big deal is. You took less benefits for older players, which you eventually will be, right? You're not going to play NFL football forever. So you turned your nose up at the guys that set up the league, that's making you the money, that you're making way too much money early in your career. So now you did that. Now let's see if we can pull the wool over your eyes, not once, but twice. And they saw the turn. Listen, you can't fault the owners for trying to get away with something that people knowingly let them do.
And that's on the PA. That is on the NFLPA, right? Which is where one of the articles I read about this, Jay, said that, obviously this is on the owners, right? For not operating in good faith. Maybe they colluded actively. Maybe, it was more passively. I know Goodell and Kraft were named, and Roger Goodell seems like he'll get out of this okay. He didn't tell an owner to go to the owners and say, hey, we got to knock it off with the guaranteed money. But someone I was reading had a good point that the NFLPA on the low let this happen. They didn't go to bat for enough of their players, right? Maybe a little bit for Russell Wilson, who you brought up, obviously Lamar Jackson, negotiations with Baltimore, and then Kyler Murray when he was signing his extension. But someone was saying there's a legitimate case that, these 594 other players who were on a list that ended up not getting released, but signed contracts with some guaranteed money in them from the time span of this investigation. This one outlet is saying that those 594 players maybe have grounds to sue not only the owners in the NFL for its collusion, but for suing the NFLPA almost for like breach of duty. You didn't do everything that I'm paying you to do as a member of the NFLPA. And so right now, a lot of the blowback is on the league, is on the owners, and that makes sense. Number one, though, the brand is going to survive. If it survived the concussion lawsuits, if it survived the Ray Rice or the Greg Hardy situations, it's going to survive. It's just going to brush it off. It's a bad look, absolutely, but it's going to survive. It's going to be fine. But number two, if you're at the NFLPA, you got to really start getting your ducks in a row and actively be ready to go to bat for your players. Otherwise, you might get smoked with lawsuits from the very players that trusted you with so much of their career earnings.
Yeah, it's huge, because I think it'll blow over on the NFL, because it'll be another story, right? Whether it's another rookie that's doing really well or something happens, right? There'll be something else that'll kind of take everybody's view towards something else. Mm-hmm. Now you have to look at the NFLPA. You have to look at every single player rep, because you can't tell me that because their offices aren't next to each other, but there's a lot of crossovers, players or guys that work for the league and go to the PA. You're trying to tell me that you didn't hear any rumblings about that? You're trying to tell me when Lamar Jackson was up for his contract. Now I'm taking a step further now. I'm not personally, but I would think like, okay, Well, do you remember when Stephen A. Smith and all those guys that have influence on the media, or the media guys have influence on the masses, was telling Lamar Jackson that he was an idiot because his mom was his agent, which she was as the title, but he had people also working under that. Since he didn't have some sort of big agent, that he was going to take 25% less. That's grounds for suing ESPN or Stephen A. Smith or wherever they got their information. If they want to really, I'd be suing everybody. I really would.
You can get some, you can get some, you'll get some coming back to you. You can get some too.
You remember that meme that come out when it was actually a reference to City Boys, and they were talking about bodies. Everybody's getting it. You know what? I would turn into like my man Adrian Brunner. I'll be the can man. Everybody can get it. Everybody can get a lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? But right now, it's huge news, and I think it's been kind of swept underneath the rug because it's a bad look all around. It really is. Look, football is the only sport I know that doesn't have any fully guaranteed contracts, let alone the guys that have earned these contracts. And it's the going rate. It's no different than NBA players, average NBA player. How many times have we seen an NBA player average 6 points, 5 rebounds, and gets $20 million a year? We've seen it, right? Heck, a guy that really earns his money, and we're surprised he got that contract, is Steven Adams, right? You got to think that, there's times that when he signed with Houston, it's a lot of money, but there's a lot of guys that make. So these guys in the NFL have earned this money. Were set up based on the market before. And when you think about it, when you look at Cincinnati Bengals with their first round pick, or Trey Hendrickson, or all that, you think that there isn't phone calls saying don't call here and send 2 first-round picks for Trey Hendrickson. He's had almost 40 sacks in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's had back-to-back seasons with 16 or more sacks, and that's in the regular season. So 40 sacks, or not because they didn't make the playoffs, but almost 40 sacks in the last 2 years. He is sitting at home doing the same thing we're doing, watching TV and eating potato chips. Now, obviously, he's working out, and so this is a bigger issue than probably let on. I don't know how far to go, but it does need to get some traction because there's a lot of players. Just like I know that I saw a little TikTok where some players that might have been receiving gift cards for the, kind of the pay from like 2016. I'm talking about college football players to like recent, where they're able to get some money. There's a lot of guys of those 500. I think you say 94 free agents. They could be in line for a little bit of a surprise in the mail from coming from the NFL or the NFLPA.
It'll be interesting to see if they do enter like some sort of like class action suit and try to get just like one kind of broad settlement, almost like the House versus NCAA kind of deal. Well, it remains to be seen. But I guess then looking forward, Jay, the next question that I would have for you after a little setup is what will it take for NFL players to across the board get guaranteed money? You would think, maybe just looking at this from the outside as a neutral observer, that, this is a really bad look for the league. They need some good PR. So maybe they take a step in the next CBA to guarantee money. No, that's not going to happen. The owners have gotten away without guaranteeing money for so long. I think one of 2 things is plausible, and I'd love your thoughts on it. Number one, I don't think the players will get guaranteed money until they get up to 20 games in the regular season. I think that'd be a huge step for the owners. And, obviously for the players in different ways. I think it would take 20 games in the regular season to get guaranteed money. The only way I think that doesn't happen or wouldn't be plausible is if the owners could find some way to cut a deal where maybe, with some free agents, you can negotiate your way up to a higher guarantee, 70% and 80%. But do you think it would be in the cards for NFL owners, and would the NFLPA go for a step in the right direction that just off the bat, 55 to 60% of the contract is automatically guaranteed?
Yeah, I think that would do it. And then you might see a little bit less as far as the whole contract. But I think guaranteed money is kind of like when people used to take a little bit less to play with the Patriots, but know that they would play for, another year or two with obviously to increase your value when you became a free agent. I think it could be a stair step type of situation. And I would probably even be better. Maybe they could get to 18 games. And then, once they get to 20, it's a higher percentage. I think you have to put everything on the table. There isn't any preseason anymore. The owners don't like preseason because they don't make any money. You could have one preseason game and use that as the fourth preseason game for guys that are on the bubble. And they already do like practices. So it's right there for the taking. But before you even like get there, what would it take right now? It would take, solidarity from incoming NFL players, present NFL players, big time players that are playing. So the faces of the league. It would take Peyton Manning to get on board, your boy. It would take guys, Tom Brady and all those guys. And then I would see some high profile former players to be in solidarity and walk right the hell out.
So then the next crop of guys that are coming up, right? I mean, I think obviously the guys that you mentioned, that makes perfect sense. But then you got to worry about this 2026 draft class. Who are they in it for? What do they understand? These are guys that will be reaching the NFL for the first time. And you said the last name, Jay. But Arch Manning, if he plays the way that people are expecting, would that help the owners? Would it help the players? Would Arch have to maybe hold out or stay in college, say, I'm not joining the NFL until, there's guaranteed money on contracts? I don't think he's good enough right now. We'll see after the year. I don't think he's good enough to make that impact on the NFL by himself. I don't think he's the Trevor Lawrence caliber prospect. I don't think he's the Andrew Luck caliber prospect, at least right now. But there's the family name. It's about potential. If he's in line to go number one at the end of the year, maybe Peyton and Eli and some other, family friends that he knows say, hey, this is going to really suck for you. You could have gotten a head start, by declaring after your third year in college, but we can really make you the figurehead of this movement. You can be a legendary figure if you hold out. Maybe you come back to college. Maybe you just don't enter the NFL draft for you or whatever it is that looks like. I'd be really curious to see how the NFL tries to leverage Arch Manning if he has a good year into joining the league, and how if guaranteed money is on the table and on the front of mind for Peyton Manning, some of these former players, how they might try to leverage and influence Arch to maybe stay out of the draft until there can be some changes in the CBA.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a position to make some of those moves, and obviously the position increases if he plays well. Right now, to be honest with you, this is where like a Peyton Manning, specifically him, and obviously I know he has a great media career and everything like that, but he could still do that or actually get involved. He needs a player of his caliber. We're not talking about somebody like Aaron Rodgers who wants to solve whether the world is flat or round and argue about that, right? Somebody of that stature, and it necessarily might not have to be Peyton Manning. I'd have to really jog my brain cells that I still have left to see who could be somebody, because Peyton has a lot of stuff going on to step up and be.
What if it was Marino? What if it was Elway?
It was probably a little long in the tooth. I'm talking about somebody that has some influence. It could be a Peyton Manning. It could be somebody even like a Greg Olsen. It could be somebody, or somebody like that has some influence that's going to be the head of the PA and that's going to negotiate hard. They're financially set. But if you really want to be that guy and be in conjunction with players coming in forward, and it'll trickle down. Look, these players in college are going to face the same thing. You best believe. You better find a way to union, and you better get some representation, and you better get these young kids right now. You talk about who they're playing for. They're playing for themselves, and that's the biggest mistake that you can make, because I was fortunate enough to grow up, obviously, with a father that played, right? But I was fortunate also to be around, Alan Page, Carl Eller, Jim Marshall, I knew met Dan Marino a few times. I saw what it's like when guys transition from the NFL and all that. So I was always very aware of it, to pay, homage to the guys that were able to set forth the path for, just a middle of the road, late draft pick that, exceeded expectations like myself. I never really knew I was playing for a bigger purpose. And these young guys come in are strictly playing for themselves. They think they're going to play forever. You will not play forever. You will become a former player very quickly, and that could happen even in college, right? You could be a former Husker and still be a Husker, but it's significantly different. You could be once you're a former player, you're in a different category. You better buckle up, baby, because this is going to be real rocky roads once you get there, and you need people around you that's going to help and assist you. And it may be a time for some people the same people that are influential or very, very influential to help the NFL collude or whatever, to call some of these big time players out. We know you got your own stuff on ESPN. Get involved with the PA. Peyton knows a lot of guys that have some physical issues, that you used to play with, and I get it. Your time is up, but you need to have a bigger influence, and you can do it because the way that the league will view the things that Peyton Manning says or Tom Brady says, or like somebody like Julian Edelman or somebody like that, there's a ton of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is different than if, say, like a Jay Foreman does it. They're Super Bowl champions. They're still very wide, very new, still, connected to the league. You can't push them around, and you would have plenty of backup with it.
What about Matt Ryan?
Matt Ryan could do it. I mean, all the guys. I mean, they all could do it, and they could all do it in conjunction. But if there's ever a time when you have 594 players that got a little bit less money that they earned, along with a couple big time players, if this isn't a time for people to start to come, or for them to come together, then I don't know when it is. I don't know how many times you get smacked in the face, but not only by the owners, but by your own right hand that you're missing. You're going to slapping all your other, so-called brothers to get, time that is now to kind of come together.
So I guess we've kind of danced around the question. I just want to, bring it to you directly. What is the result of this lawsuit coming to light? Is it legitimate structural change in CBAs and how the NFL operates, or is it something that owners think they can, wave away with a check and say, nope, we're good, move on, business is normal?
Well, you're locked in, right? Because you got a CBA that's already in force. So why would they go and change it right now? So you better, as much as the owners have, some dimes on you and kind of, taking notes, right? You better take this note, and this better be the first thing you talk about. And if you're the biggest sport out there, but you don't have as many benefits, and you need to start thinking not just in this time that you're going to do it. You better think well before, to the 1950s, all the way to 30 and 50. How you got this, what your decisions you're making now is going to affect not only the guys in the past but in the future. NFLPA has done some good stuff where you increase the benefits, but those are benefits that should have been increased before. I'm never going to turn my nose up by that, and there's time when I get to take advantage of it, I will. But also know that the amount of money that these players are making is a byproduct of the Chuck Foreman's, Dick Buckus, and all those guys that didn't have a union or a PA, let alone the decision that they made in the last PA is affecting guys that are here in the real time, right? So now, if you don't want to talk about the old players, well, you could just talk about, new players. Russell Wilson is still playing. There's money that I don't care if he's married to Sierra. I don't care if he's done everything great. There's some money that was left on the table for him, Lamar Jackson, and other players that they earned, that they better go back and either try to get now or better make sure that they can get at a later date. And if I'm the owners, I'm out in front of this and try to just send out a blank check. Okay, right? Pay it now. You got because they already made the interest. You're already essentially giving everybody the interest that you didn't pay out the money. So, we'll see where it goes. I think it was an interesting story that the NFL is always fighting it because it's such a brutal sport. But also all eyes are on you because it is the biggest sport going in not only this nation but the whole wide world. So, good segment there. We're going to take a quick break there, Austin. We're going to take a quick break. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, old school to new school way. We'll holler at you in a second.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Need service on your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952, Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly, NATE-certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans, begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes a ticket to USC plus Akron or Houston Christian and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. Purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. This is Old School. Welcome back in. Jay Foreman has some business to handle. So it's us, Norman. I'll be taking you home for the next 25 minutes or so. Let me know if you're on your way home, if you made it home, where it is you're listening from. Really do truly appreciate you tuning in. And we appreciate the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese for their sponsorship of the show. Tomorrow is Fired Up Friday at the Mercado. Let's go ahead and see what it is they will be cooking up for you. So the mercadobutcher.com/Fired Up Fridays. Ooh, beef and cheddar sandwich. Smoked and shaved New York strip with cheddar sauce and horsey Q sauce on a Kaiser bun with house seasoned curly fries. $17 for you up at the 84th and Havelock location of the Mercado. Make sure you get there and check that out tomorrow. Would like to pick up where Strick and I left off at 4:30. A little bit of a Nebraska men's basketball discussion Got some really good text from people here on the text line. So sorry to keep you waiting on that. Had some good stuff there from Elena from the Upside, as well as Jay Foreman talking collusion in the NFL. Let's go ahead. Let's start on the text from 6296. Where does Connor Esigian fit into this? And by this, of course, that means the rotation for Nebraska in the backcourt. Connor Esigian's an interesting piece. Heard from him yesterday at media availability as well. Seems like he's one of those guys who has really stepped up into a leadership role for Nebraska. He's an upperclassman. He's a senior. It'll be his 4th year in the Big Ten. He said yesterday he was kind of shocked by that himself. He kind of feels like an old guy in some regards. Sounds like he's been one that's been taking on a lot of that responsibility for transfer portal guys and high school guys who come to Nebraska on visits, which is good to see. Said he's really been working on his body with Kurt Joseph so far this offseason. Says he's up to 200 pounds, which will go a long way, I think, for Connor Esigian holding up throughout the course of the year. In terms of his role, my preference, such as it is that Connor Esigian probably plays the same role he did last year. Bench, shooter, and scorer. I think he's got to work on his handle. I think he's got to develop a little bit more of an in-between game for those teams that run him off the three-point line. More than anything, I think he's got to get a little savvier when it comes to movement without the basketball, right? That was really the secret sauce that made Keisei Tominaga so good, and you saw CJ Wilcher develop some of that by the end of his time at Nebraska as well, is, yes, the reputation that you have and the best skill that you have is as a three-point shooter from long range. That is completely understood. But you leverage the gravity, as Fred Hoiberg would say, you leverage that talent that you have to get yourself and your team 2 easy points when they overplay you on the three-point line. I think Connor Esigian, playing in FIBA against grown men, had to get creative to find ways to get shots right against grown men. He talked about that a lot during his media availability. I think that for Connor Esigian, he can't be content just hanging out outside the three-point line. And I don't think Connor Esigian's ever going to be a guy that Nebraska looks at and says, go get us a bucket. Because there's a big difference between go get us a bucket and go hit a shot. Go hit a shot is you just got to move and get yourself in position. Go get a bucket is you got to do all the work of setting up, of ball handling, of hitting something contested yourself. I don't think that's Connor Esigian. I think what Esigian's going to need to do to fit in is come in, provide a spark for Nebraska off the bench, hit his open threes. Again, his percentage was good last year. I'd like to see him learn that one dribble pull-up. So instead of hitting from 27.5, 28 feet, can you get closer to that 23-foot, maybe 24-foot mark that makes jump shooting just a little bit easier for a shooter, a little bit more in rhythm after that dribble. When he gets run off, we saw it against Creighton. Can he get more consistent from the mid-range? Can he hit a little floater from inside the paint? Can he be a drive and kick guy when a team runs him off the three-point line? Can he make the next right play, with the pass to the kick-out guy in the corner after the help rotates over? Can he make a skip pass off a live dribble? Some of that would be asking a lot of him. I think Connor Esigian can play a simple role for this team if he shoots, 39% from three off the bench. I just don't know, how many minutes there will be for him on a consistent basis if that's all he can do. Nebraska will need him. Nebraska will utilize him. But I think DeMarcus Lawrence probably brings a little bit more to the table. Maybe not the same level of shooter as Connor Esigian, but not incredibly far off of it. DeMarcus is a, mid to upper 30% three-point guy. Plus, he can handle the ball a little bit better. Free throws are comparable, maybe the edge to Esigian, but I like what Lawrence can do better on the ball defensively. I think those are guys that are going to be competing for minutes at the two-guard spot, along with, Sam Hoiberg, who was talked about playing the point, who might handle it some, but shouldn't be Nebraska's lead ball handler. We'll see if Cale Jacobson can work his way into that conversation. Is Price Sanford a 3? Does Nebraska try a uber big lineup with Price Sanford at the 2? Does Will Cooper see the floor at all? Is Braden Frager a 2 or a 3? So many of those questions remain to be seen. And of course, some of it is matchup based, but I think Connor Esigian will get minutes. I think he'll have a pretty narrow role, and it's on him the rest of the summer to prove that he can do more, that he's deserving of being, more than just a 10 to 15 minute a night guy. Moving along here on our text line, 5284. Berke Boyutengel is young and has time to improve, but wow, his IQ drove me crazy. Can't trust him on the floor. I don't see a spot for Berke on the floor with Rink, Oogie, and Jared Garcia on the roster. Berke's not young anymore. He's a junior. Okay, he played enough his freshman year, enough his sophomore year. Berke's a junior now. That's not young. That's upperclassman. He's got to have his head screwed on straight. I don't think his IQ was that bad. I think it was just focus more than anything. I think from the quote we heard from Fred Hoiberg, it wasn't that Berke didn't know what to do or couldn't give you the right answer for a test. I think it was translating it onto the floor in the heat of the moment. That was the issue for Berke. I think he was asked to play differently than he's ever been asked to play in his life. And I think that took a toll on him, and he was really working hard to try and figure that out. I don't think Berke is a dumb basketball player. I think Berke is a growing and maturing basketball player who certainly needs to get better. But then to that last point, I don't see a spot for Berke on the floor with Rink, Oogie, and Jared Garcia on the roster. I think the addition of Ugnius Jerušević from Central Michigan gives Nebraska its true backup five behind Rink Mast. I think Nebraska will try to play Mast and Oogie together quite a bit, but I don't think that's going to be the best thing for them. I think those guys are both pretty true centers. I think in that standpoint, Rink Mast could move to the power forward position if he's sharing the floor with Oogie, but I think Oogie's kind of the heir apparent to Rink Mast for the next year or two. So I think Mast and Jerušević probably combine for 40 minutes a game between the two of them. Maybe you creep up closer to 50 or 53 minutes per game, depending on the night, depending on fouls, obviously. But by that token, then I think that does leave room for Berke Boyutengel at the 4, where I think he's probably best, where he doesn't have to be that point forward, where he's not responsible for making the majority of the plays and setting people up like it seemed like Nebraska needed him to do at times last year that he just wasn't fully comfortable with. Jared Garcia is fine. I'm not going to get overly excited about him for now. He's an interesting type of player that I don't think Nebraska's had much recently, right? He's a pretty true power forward, maybe a little bit of stretch potential, but that's defense, rebounding, going to be a pretty low usage guy. He's a wing-ish defender, maybe more of a power wing defender more so than a true post defender or a true wing defender. He'll be fine. He'll be a veteran guy that won't kill you when he's out on the floor. I don't know how much of a difference maker he's going to be for Nebraska, and certainly won't have as much on his plate as, say, Juwan Gary did for Nebraska last year. Nebraska likes Berke. He did legitimately grade out as their best defensive player by analytics. That's where the eye test might tell you something a little bit different, but his size, his rebounding, his activity, right, when he wasn't a space cadet getting lost on backdoor cuts, an engaged Berke is a difference maker defensively, right? Maybe not a lockdown guy, but he'll raise your floor. He'll compete. He'll rebound. He'll terminate possessions. So I think Nebraska likes that out of him and hopes that he can develop into that 3-and-D kind of power forward with maybe some second side ball handling or, late clock scoring if that comes around. That's been his game, the scoring, the shooting, best player on the team kind of stuff. That's not what he's being asked to do for Nebraska this year. So I'm not giving up hope on Berke Boyutengel. I just think he's really got to accept his role, identify, for certain what that is, and then make strides to be the best player in that role he can every single day. Nebraska does really like him. They went and paid him a bunch of money to be a difference maker for him. I think he still can be. But for those of you who might have jumped off the Berke Boyutengel bandwagon, I would advise you to reset your expectations, right? The young man is not a lost cause. Sounds like he's been working really hard on his body, his conditioning. And I think there are the outlines of a useful player there for Nebraska. I think I would expect to see him on the floor quite a bit for the Huskers this year. We got one more text here from Gus Mohawk. It's going to be about the NBA draft. A couple questions from him on that. With the second round of the NBA draft coming up here in just a couple hours, we'll talk about Bryce Williams, his chances to get selected, and other players with ties back to the University of Nebraska or mostly the state of Nebraska. That's how we'll wrap up Old School after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies. An afternoon high around 88. Tonight, a few showers early, then mainly cloudy skies, a low around 67. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day with light winds. It'll be hot with a high near 91. I'm meteorologist Kyle for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Attention baseball and softball players. The Nebraska Dominators are looking to add players to their baseball and softball teams for the 2026 season. Tryouts are happening now for all age groups, ranging from 7 years old to 14 and under for baseball and 7 years old to 18 and under for softball. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more information today.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Old School one final time here on a Thursday. Austin Orman with you, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. We're headed back to our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. A text from Gus Mohawk. He says, who has the best potential to make it in the league? Bryce Williams, Hunter Salas, or Chucky Hepburn? All very talented. I would agree, Gus Mohawk. All three of those guys, I think, have a role. I guess I would describe it this way. I think that Hunter Salas is still probably the most developmental prospect among those guys. So I think he would be a good fit for maybe a team that's in the playoff hunt pretty much every year, where he can get spot minutes. Maybe he can go down to the G League and get some reps. But I think Hunter Salas still needs to figure out, is he a lead guard, a point guard in the NBA? Can he find enough scoring juice to make it work as a shooting guard? And then how much can his frame fill out, right? Hunter Salas is still very skinny, which, isn't a killer, but he'll get taken advantage of a little bit, especially defensively, by some of the bigger guards and wings that he'd be asked to defend in the NBA. So Hunter Salas is either going to be an upside play by a team that's out of the playoffs just to see what they can make work with him. But I think he would be best served by going to a winning organization that has a plan for him and tells him, you are going to learn how to play point guard, be a ball handler, initiator, guard guys at the point of attack, or you're going to shift off the ball. You're going to defend the other team's best perimeter scorer, and we're just going to ask you to be a 3-and-D type of player. I think Chucky Hepburn is a little bit more limited in what teams will ask him to do. I think he's going to be your prototypical kind of caretaker, backup point guard. There's no reason that Chucky Hepburn can't do what TJ McConnell did for the Indiana Pacers, right? I think Chucky Hepburn can fit into that archetype with probably a little bit better of a three-point shot, a little bit more consistent. Chucky's reputation, right? Grinder, gamer. He'll set guys up. He's a passer, can go get his own bucket in the mid-range. Tough point of attack defender, like I said. Chucky Hepburn will have a moment, but not every team is going to need that, and not every team is going to want to spend a draft pick on that. So I think Chucky Hepburn probably, has the highest floor for what he'll be asked to do. But I also think there are quite a few Chucky Hepburns floating around out there, where a lot of those spots will go to veteran guys the teams know they can trust, instead of a developmental guy who has to learn all the savvy veteran tricks that Chucky Hepburn might have to in the NBA. If Chucky Hepburn isn't in the NBA, he'll have a long career overseas. I mean, almost guaranteed if he wants it. And then Bryce Williams. I really think that the widest swath of teams could be interested in Bryce Williams because of just how versatile he can be, right? He can be a secondary ball handler. You can ask him to be a play finisher as a shooter, right? You don't hate him necessarily on defense. I think Bryce Williams would be the most attractive of these options to the widest range of teams just because of his skill sets. But I also think it's going to be maybe hardest for Bryce to find a home or lock down a role, and it's really going to be a team-to-team basis, right? If Bryce can be a chameleon and know what his team wants from him, maybe Bryce is a guy that bounces around, right? Because what he was asked to do at Nebraska is not what he'll be asked to do in the NBA, right? Chucky Hepburn was pretty much who he was going to be. Maybe scored a little bit more than the NBA would ask him to at Louisville, but Chucky Hepburn knows who he is. Hunter Salas is even more of a blank slate than Bryce Williams. Maybe a little bit better athletically, maybe a little bit faster, more inconsistent as a jump shooter, maybe a little better on the ball as a defender. But I think Hunter Salas and his ability to be a lead guard and ball handler is maybe a little clearer for NBA scouts, whereas Bryce Williams is a pretty true wing. Maybe he can slide down to the number 2. Bryce Williams can fit on I think, pretty much all 30 NBA teams. But the key for Bryce will be determining what it is he wants to be good at, right? If Bryce wants to be that go-getter bucket scorer, he's going to have to go be an overseas guy. I don't think Bryce Williams is that microwave scorer off the bench for an NBA team just because of his high handle, got a little loose at times at Nebraska. He'll be able to get buckets, but I think NBA teams would ask Bryce to set up off the ball, to really lock in on defense, and then make a play on the second side after the ball rotates. I think Bryce Williams can do that. I really think that he can raise the floor for an NBA team. Is Bryce Williams, an 82-game guy? Is he a 16-game guy in the NBA? We'll have to see, but certainly rooting for Nebraska's former number 3. I think a team would get better by drafting Bryce Williams and giving him an opportunity to help their team out. Of course, the other guy with Nebraska ties who I think will get his name called first will be Ryan Kalkbrenner out of the University of Creighton. I would guess that he goes somewhere in the low to mid 30s. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he's off the board in the first 5 picks of the second round of the NBA draft. I think he's gonna find a role in the NBA if he's able to make it work a little bit on the perimeter and prove that his jump shooting wasn't a mirage for Creighton. That'll do it for Old School. Big thanks to Jay for popping on for a segment. Big thanks to everyone who sent in a question during On the Block and Old School. A huge thank you to Old School's sponsor, the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. They got 3 Lincoln locations and 1 up in Omaha. This is Austin Norman signing off. I will talk to you tomorrow from Haymarket Park. Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies. An afternoon high around 88. Tonight, a few showers early, then mainly cloudy skies, a low around 67. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day with light winds. It'll be hot with a high near 91. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business